Hello, I'm Tom from Matchetts Music. I'm here today to bring you the latest in our how-to sessions, a series of videos designed to help empower you and make you more independent in the care of your instrument. Today we're going to be talking about how to restring violin. Okay, so the first thing to discuss is how to remove the strings on a violin. Well, what I would say first of all is we're not going to take all of the strings off at once. The reason for that being that the tension of the strings is what is holding the certain parts of the violin together. So we have our bridge here and our tailpiece here. If we remove all of the strings at once, your bridge will fall off and so will your tailpiece. Okay, so we'll take the strings off in pairs. So we're going to do our G and our D first, and we will replace those two strings. Then we will move on to the E and the A and replace those two strings. So to remove the string on a violin, you simply turn the tuning peg until the string goes slack. And if you gently tug the string as it's loosening, it will take it off nice and neatly. Then simply unhook the string from the bottom. Before we replace the strings on the instrument, we have a great opportunity to clean areas of the instrument that are normally quite difficult to reach. So we're really talking about the fingerboard itself, where the strings would normally sit, and underneath where the strings would sit on the soundboard. Two great things that you can use. Well, one is a product called varnish cleaner, which is great for the woodwork of the instrument. You would just apply that with a normal instrument cloth or a microfiber cloth, and you can just put a little bit on the cloth and work that into the woodwork. It's particularly good for breaking down the areas where the rosin has built up on the body. The second cleaning material that we would use would be some normal household white vinegar. That's just distilled white vinegar. And what we use that for is cleaning the ebony fittings on the violin. So that would be your fingerboard, that would be your chin rest if you've got an ebony chin rest, and if you've got an ebony tuning pegs, you would use the vinegar for that. You simply put a little bit on some kitchen roll and gently work that across the ebony fittings, and that brings them up as good as new. Okay, so in order to put the strings on the violin, there are two things that I would suggest you would need. The first, some violin strings. The second, a pencil. So, the question we often get asked, of course, is what violin strings you should use. You know, there are a whole range of violin strings available, from beginner's level right the way up to professional. Everyone has their preference, of course. I would suggest if you're a beginner to sort of low intermediate player, you're definitely going to get more if you spend a little bit more money than your absolute cheapest option. I would suggest that something around the sort of the £20 to £25 price range will get you something very nice for a student beginner player. I'm going to use some Tomastic Alfaye strings today. The Dario also have a good option in that price range, the Ascente strings, and also Piastro have the Tonica strings, just a little bit above that price range, but still a good student set of strings. So before we put the string on, what we're going to do is put a little bit of graphite from the pencil lead across the channels where the strings will sit. The reason for this is to provide some lubrication for the strings to pass over. If these channels aren't lubricated, what will happen is as the string is tightened, it will pull the bridge forward. but the graphite from the pencil lead will allow the string to slide across the bridge and leave the bridge in place. First things first, take the ball end of your violin string and place it into the saddle at the bottom into the tailpiece. The next thing is just to maintain the tension at the bottom end of the violin to stop the ball end from popping out of the tailpiece. Just let the string rest gently over your hand, and without putting a kink in the string, just pinch it gently between your finger and thumb. That allows you with a free end to work with up here. Now what we're going to do is pop the end of the string through the hole in the tuning post. Now you want a little bit of excess on the other side, probably no more than about 5 mil. Now we can start to turn. So in the first pass, we're going to take the string to the outside of the excess of the piece of string, by which I mean the other side from the tuning peg. As we come around this time, we're going to pass over. Let's pull that to the side and allow this to pass over that string. So from this point on, all the winds will be to the side of the tuning peg. And what that will do is hold the string in place, stop it slipping. As the tension starts to increase, you can gradually just slip your hand out, keep turning to the point where you can just pinch that lightly. And as we feel the string come up to tension, if we can get a wee note. So the reason that we do them in the order that we're doing is we've done the G first, now we're going to do the D second, and that is because the D sits over the G, so it's quite hard to do the G if you've done the D first. But apart from that, it's exactly the same principle as before. Okay, so now we've got our first two strings on. We need to remove our second two. So we'll take the A off first, as before, just slowly loosening the tuning peg as we pull out the string, and again out at the bottom, and then the E. So the first of these two strings that we're going to put on is the E string. So we're skipping a string and we're going to put on the string at the bottom here. The reason for that is the same as before. This string goes on underneath to a post underneath the string that's going to go on next, so it's quite tricky to put it on after the A string. So once we've threaded the string through the eye of the tuning peg, we're going to pass it round the outside on the first pass. Same as with the other strings, although this time we're on the opposite side. So the second pass will go to the side of the tuning peg, and this will allow us to pinch the excess string in place and help with stability of tuning. So we're doing our final string now, which in this case is the A string. Same as before, in at the bottom, take up your excess, thread it through the eye, and we'll turn our string. So there we go, folks. 4 new strings on a violin. It's quick and it's easy to do. However, if you have any questions about what you've seen today, please just leave them in the comments below. Likewise, if you have any suggestions or requests for other techniques or other instruments that we could cover in other future videos, again, leave them in the comments below too. I've been working from home today because of the COVID-19 lockdown, so we don't have the usual glamorous surroundings of Matchetts music premises, but thanks for bearing with me. If, however, you do need any strings or accessories or varnish cleaner or whatever it happens to be in the meantime, head over to our website because our web shop is still open, and that's www.matchettsmusic.com. Thank you very much for watching, folks, and hopefully we'll see you for future videos. Take care.